Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On, where we're taking another look at the very best games available on Xbox Game Pass today.
From Halo to Gears, shooting games have always been one of Xbox's strengths, and the Xbox Game Pass library is no exception to that rule.
So here are 10 of the best shooters that you can play with an Xbox Game Pass subscription.
You still got some Nazi fighting killing skills up in you?
In any shooting game, there are two things that really matter: the enemies you're shooting and the weapons you're shooting them with.
Wolfenstein: The New Colossus delivers on both fronts, set in an alternate history where World War II went very, very differently. The New Colossus takes you to Nazi-occupied America in 1961.
How exactly you bring down this American Third Reich is up to you. You can sneak around, quietly taking down officers before they can summon any more stormtroopers, or you can go in all guns blazing and oh, what guns they are.
As well as the usual pistols and shotguns, you've got the mighty Hammergewehr and the laser Kraftwerk, which vaporizes soldiers and walls alike. Best of all, almost every weapon you pick up can be dual-wielded for double the destruction.
The New Colossus really mixes things up with non-combat story sections that drive home the horrifying reality of the situation, or get you acquainted with its cast of freedom fighters.
The result is a game with real heart, as well as a lot of blood.
The original Gears of War reinvented the third-person shooter by showing that taking cover could be just as exciting as pulling the trigger.
The original trilogy polished that formula to perfection, and then Gears 4 reinvents it all over again.
It's the beginning of a whole new chapter, jumping ahead 25 years as Marcus Phoenix passes the torch to the next generation of COG soldiers, led by his son, JD.
With the Locust Horde defeated at the end of Gears 3, new enemies step forward: the mysterious Swarm and heavily armored DB robots.
They bring the fight to the player in a whole new way, but luckily your arsenal has expanded to match.
The standout addition has to be the Buzzkill, which shoots bouncing saw blades instead of bullets.
The Gears games have always offered a robust multiplayer, and 4 is no exception, but it moves everything, ready for it, up a gear.
Oh, you didn't. Versus is expanded with new modes including Arms Race, where the winning team has to get 3 kills with every available weapon. And Horde is back with version 3.0, adding a fabricator for building defenses and a class system where you can choose to be a sniper, heavy, scout, soldier, or engineer.
Multiplayer is all crossplay, and Gears 4 is also one of the first Play Anywhere titles, meaning you can jump from console to PC at any time with all your progress carried across.
Thanks for flying Unknown Air.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is the game that really kicked off the Battle Royale revolution. You know the setup by now. 100 players get dropped onto an island, duke it out inside an ever-shrinking circle, and try to be the last one standing so they can claim that famous chicken dinner.
Battlegrounds has a grittier and more grounded style than other Battle Royale games, not just in its visuals, but in the detailed customization and realistic handling of the weapons.
Don't expect any giant mechs here, thank God, but there are plenty of real-world vehicles to help you navigate the island, and the game is evolving all the time thanks to regular content updates.
Take your time, relax, think it over. No, I'm kidding. You only have 9 seconds.
Thoughtful isn't a word you might associate with shooting games, but Prey encourages you to exercise your brain as much as your trigger finger.
Prey pulls in elements from RPGs, survival games, and even Metroidvanias. You're stuck in a space station infested with shape-shifting aliens, which you can explore at your own pace.
You'll gradually unlock new areas, but clever players can find ways of accessing them early.
Prey gives you a toy box full of abilities and lets you figure out interesting ways to use them. One alien power lets you transform into an inanimate object. Maybe you can't fit through that gap, but a rolling coffee mug could.
Or maybe you could use the game's single best gun, the glue cannon. Instead of bullets, it fires balls of sticky foam, which you can use to freeze enemies in place, or to build makeshift stairways over obstacles, or, well, I mean, that's for you to think up yourself.
Doom is a shotgun blast from the past, taking the no-nonsense attitude of the 1993 original and bringing it bang up to date.
Bang! The game casts you as the space marine known only as Doom Guy, awaking on Mars to find there's been another incursion of demons from hell. Something like that anyway.
The story's not really the point of Doom. What is the point is constantly rushing forward and shooting demons in the face.
Doom doesn't believe in cover or regenerating shields. Instead, health packs are dropped when you perform a melee glory kill, and you can get ammo by chainsawing an enemy in half. Apparently, demons work a lot like pinatas.
With a banging rock soundtrack, Doom is an unapologetically old-school, adrenaline-pumping shooter. We'd say they don't make them like this anymore, but Doom proves that they do.
I am unstoppable!
And speaking of old school pleasures, Shadow Warrior 2 is another revival of a 90s shooter, returning to the adventures of Master Assassin Lo Wang.
This reboot introduced the best hacking and slashing in any first-person shooter. You can carve up enemies with everything from katanas to Wolverine-style claws, and even target specific body parts to lop off the head or arm. It's gory good fun.
This sequel builds on the first Shadow Warrior, adding elements you might expect to see in a modern loot shooter. There are nearly 100 guns and blades to collect, and enemies drop gems to mod your weapons with.
Levels have randomly generated aspects, so you can revisit them as many times as you like, and the whole thing can be played in 4-player co-op.
It all makes for a game that's an excellent blend of old and new.
There's only Metro, nothing else.
The Metro games have always been dripping with atmosphere, set in a post-apocalyptic Moscow where everyone lives underground.
But Metro Exodus escapes the cramped tunnels of the previous games and introduces you to a huge open world, all in glorious 4K HDR and Xbox One X enhanced.
Your band of survivors travel across Russia on a steam train where you'll encounter horrifying mutants and some not so friendly fellow humans.
Your decisions along the way will guide how the story develops, with huge repercussions if you make the wrong choices.
Metro Exodus takes you on a tour of the apocalypse, from nuclear winter to harsh desert. But wherever you go, the game manages to preserve the wonderfully grim atmosphere this series is so renowned for.
In Superhot, time only moves when you do, so if you stand still, don't move, you've got time to line up your next shot or figure out how to dodge those bullets that are zooming towards your face. Benny said not to move, you're dead now.
This makes for a completely different shooter experience. Instead of reacting on instinct, you can carefully plan every single action.
In fact, you'll need to, because in Superhot, death is always just a single bullet away. The game isn't afraid to throw enemy after enemy straight at you.
With a unique art style and a campaign that'll warp your sense of reality, Superhot is a shooter unlike any other.
Surprise, buttface!
The first thing you'll notice about Void Bastards is the game's unique visual style. It's like stepping inside a comic book, from the sharp cartoon graphics to the brilliantly weird enemy designs. It's more than just a pretty face.
The game was made by one of the lead developers of BioShock, and it shows. Void Bastards has the same blend of strategy and action, with a fascinating sci-fi world to discover.
You hop across the galaxy, picking ships to raid, and then trying to get out with as much loot as possible before the ship's resident aliens can catch up to you.
If they do, well, Void Bastards can be brutal.
What else were you expecting from a game with that name? Of course, we couldn't have a list of the top Xbox shooters without including the daddy of them all.
The first Halo game was a launch title for the original Xbox console, and Master Chief has been the head of the Xbox family ever since.
The Master Chief Collection packages together the first 4 main titles in the series, including the anniversary remasters of Combat Evolved and Halo 2. That means you can follow the epic saga of John 117 and Cortana all the way from the Pillar of Autumn to the Forerunner planet of Requiem.
It wouldn't be Halo without great multiplayer, and the Master Chief Collection has over 100 maps where you can drive warthogs, chuck plasma grenades, and capture flags with your friends. Every game has been given a visual upgrade, and on Xbox One X, they're enhanced with HDR, 4K resolution, and a 60 FPS frame rate, so you can enjoy these 4 blockbuster experiences like never before.
So there you have it, our 10 best shooters on Xbox Game Pass. If you've already got a subscription, you can get blasting right now. And if you haven't, well, what are you waiting for?
We'll see you again very soon with some exciting announcements from this year's Gamescom show in Cologne. To find out the news, make sure to subscribe to the channel and head over to our Mixer channel, mixer.com/XboxOn. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.